It's move-in day on the Sacramento State campus. Bright-eyed and ready to embark on a new journey, freshmen and their families take over the campus. I remember that day very vividly, even though it was nearly 20 years ago. Tears were shed as my parents pulled out of the parking lot, and I began a new chapter of my life. As a first-generation college student, I believed that college was the difference between failure and success. As the years progressed and I approached graduation, my parents began to question what my bachelor's degree in communication studies would bring me. They had no prior experience with college and could not comprehend what this piece of paper would bring me once I had it in my hands. I became overwhelmed by the big question mark that hung over my future. What job would I take? What were my options? What does success mean? The vast majority of students experience the same sense of fear and lack of vision that I did. Many times this fear results in students hanging out in college longer than they need to, just to avoid graduating and entering the real world. It is clear that there is a disconnect and gap between earning a bachelor's degree and launching a career. Many faculty still believe that a college education is pursued solely as an intellectual opportunity, which it still is, but students are not coming to college just to gain knowledge. They are coming for career opportunity. McGee states that there is also a lot of discussion around the value of a degree. The cost has increased dramatically over the past decade. The argument is it worth it? Universities around the country are trying to answer the value question by collecting data from new college graduates regarding their next step. Universities will discover employers that hire a significant number of their graduates and areas that need development to build the economy and workforce. California State University, Sacramento, otherwise known as Sac State, started collecting this information 2 years ago. However, very few students are actually completing the survey, indicating their next step after college. With minimal data to report, it is not a generalizable assessment to the entire college community. That is because the implementation of this change in the university culture has not followed a successful communication model. The Career Center at Sac State owns the assessment process of this first destination survey, as it is referred to nationwide. This diagram indicates that there is a disconnect in the communication channel between the Career Center staff, students, and administrative leadership. Because all pertinent information is filtered through the Career Center director to important stakeholders, such as college deans and the university president, the power and the relevancy of the message is lost by the time it gets to the appropriate administrative leader. The inefficiencies in communication are a result of a silo structure that cripples many university campuses. The Career Center at Sac State needs to utilize Kotter's 8-step model to create change through communication that will connect education to career. Step 1 is to create a sense of urgency. The Career Center can do this by understanding what is important to the college deans and university leadership stakeholders. By understanding the pain point of these stakeholders, the Career Center can frame and set up the urgency around the collection of employment data. Step 2, form a guiding coalition. Once the urgency is there, the center needs to create a first destination survey task force that will represent the various campus stakeholders, including students. This group will help ease the communication and create widespread empowerment, according to Lewis. Step 3, create vision. The task force will create a vision for the group to communicate to stakeholders on campus and within the community. Step 4 is to communicate that vision. This vision will create a consistent message for the task force to communicate. The diversity of the task force membership will ensure that all stakeholders hear the vision. Step 5 is empower others to act. Even if the college deans agree that collecting this information is important, nothing will happen unless action is taken. The task force members that communicate the vision will provide an implementation strategy that will guide the deans through the change. Step 6 is to plan for and create short-term wins. The first win is to get diverse representation on the task force committee, and then to get college deans to buy in and agree to implementation. Step 7 is to consolidate improvements and produce more change. After the first data collection effort, The task force will evaluate what groups or majors of students are missing from the data, then create a plan to increase their participation. Step 8 is to institutionalize these new approaches. By following Cotter's model, Sac State will be able to implement this new change and embed it in the culture. The success of data collection and the communication of its relevancy to student and alumni success, as well as workforce development, will be a key indicator of this institutional change. This diagram represents the ideal communication pathways the university should establish to engage in this change process. The task force is the hub, and vision carries a consistent message in a cyclical manner across the wide array of stakeholders. This keeps the mission on task, simple, and effective. It took me 5 years to discover my career path and purpose after earning my bachelor's degree. Had I known of the paths other graduates had taken and had that communicated to me from the university leadership, perhaps I could have saved myself a lot of angst, confusion, and feelings of defeat. Let's discover the paths taken, share the stories, and build the workforce of tomorrow.